remember that? Trump is here to destroy America. Trump has done that. He did it because you have to remember, this lineup, the stars lining up is really, technically it's good for us because whatever good we do, it's against the Zionists and it's for everybody else. Because remember, the Zionists is one of the only entities that hates everybody else and misuses everybody. The bank, the interest, right? They send everybody to war so they can sit back free. And the oppression that they do in their area is classical and everybody can see it. It's not hidden. Okay, now, sometimes you have to think about timing and what have you. This is not new. We said this years ago. But sometimes time have to pass so whatever you're saying or talking about or the hero in the analogy, people have to see it sometime. Now they see it. So when we talk about Zionism, it ain't nothing new. Everybody see it. The only thing that's different right now is that we're the only ones talking about it. I was on that my telephone and I listened to about 7 or 8 khutbahs the other day. I said, let me see what I'll be listening to, because I like the khutbahs. They really, to get a feel of the modern time, the modern spirit, and the Islam, they're doing a good job. It just don't need help from them for nothing. Don't be in no trouble with the Zionists or the Americans. I didn't believe it was possible to talk about everything in the Muslim world except Zionism, right? Has anybody heard any lectures? Not. How can that be? No, it ain't. I don't care. You can find about Tazkiyah bil Nafs, love, yuhibbul ladina, Allah loves those, and this, you can find anything you want, except that, right? That's where we're headed. So the hand has already been dealt. It was dealt before, but you know where you get your hand and then they start hitting it. Well, that's what it is. Before, all of this was laid out, but the people had not went and taken a position. So, care is out of the way because they're bad guys. The people that you call down in Texas, right? You don't hear from them. The lady, the limousine riding in lady up there in New York, whatever her name was. What's it? So, she's supposed to be involved in the Million Women's, and she was up there on stage. Well, you remember seeing up there on stage? She's in control at the time. Okay, Angela Davis, that's enough. Okay, Miss So-and-so. Right? You could see her up there doing it. They gave her top billing. And for a while, whenever she's needed, they'd still call her out. Nothing is done, though. And guess what? You could tell that was a boosted up demonstration. All those zillions of buses coming in, unions, everybody coming in. That means the government, if they want to start a movement, they can start it in one day. They can say, everybody show up over here, right? And they'll be there, right? Whatever you have, you'll be lucky if you get a handful of people. That's why you know. I don't know if anybody remember, one guy was walking by a couple of guys from down Dixie somewhere. he had a Russian hat with a red star in it. You remember? Now, nobody, that's like, they don't do that. None of the Reds that I know, the communists, they don't do that. You wear a red fez Russian hat with a red star in it. So I just, hey, you know so-and-so, da-da-da-da-da. He didn't know none of them. I was asking them all the big communists. I said, yeah, you didn't know about so-and-so, Richard Dixon down there. And I might as well have been talking about the moon, the spot on the other side of the moon. He didn't know nothing about it. They didn't know nothing about it. What was clear about that? They can have a demonstration downtown with any number that they come up with. 100,000, 500,000, da-da-da-da-da. The demonstration, we had 500,000. That was a government-sponsored demonstration. It was government-sponsored, right? We're on the stage handling everything like those Palestinian demonstrations, like all those demonstrations around 20 years ago. We're right in the mix. We're handling the stage and everything. But that was a piece they're handing us to see if we're going to take that. You stick with us, right? You stick in the mix, you're going to be big. This is what they're telling us. Yeah, you can manage the stage. Nobody can get up there and talk unless they come through you. You work with us. And then they had the people that they had went over to Iraq in the 90s, and they came back with depleted uranium and was talking all of that. So they had a place, right? They had a place in the hierarchy. They had a fixed place, right? They did. And that fixed place made them known. They had the money, they had everything. They had to have money. Why they had to have money? Very simple. When there was 500,000 people down there, right? And it was decided to pass out them big orange buckets and other big baskets for money, right? When that money, now, if me and you was getting any money, we'd have our eye on the money. We'd be watching the baskets where they go, look like, So we'd want to get at least 80% of our money that the people put in back, because, after all, we want people to get a little money, but not just we starve to death. They had, remember, how many of those buckets was it? It might have been, I remember 21 in my mind somewhere. I remember, okay, here we are. Everybody going up there on stage. And they going through and we taking care of the stage. That was what is it right over there where you have a first aid tent. The white boys would go out and with the baskets, and they would bring the money and set it right there by the stage. And I told I said, y'all, you have to secure that money. They never secured it. This is money, M-O-N-E-Y. They never even thought about it. Remember what we had to do with it? We had to put it in a medical tent and put somebody on it to watch it. They didn't care. That means everything is taken care of. All the plane tickets, all of this, all of that, they don't have to think about that. And it's already taken care of because their behavior proves that there's no crew, there's no organization, there's no crew within the crew that is their job to make sure, right, that all the tickets and all of this and all that is taken care of. Why? Because it was all free. That's why you know it's all free, right? You ain't heard nothing about it. The Women's March down there. Nobody jumping up and down about any money. And they had so many people, they was almost, we had to stop a mile away from the center to even get down there. There's so many people. The point is, everything is structured and organized inside of the United States, except us. Except us. And we got our eye on this. We're paying attention because we want to discover somebody that's headed in our direction. We don't see them. If you see them, just let me know. I want to go meet them. That's even thinking about it. That's even talking about it. In fact, if you go and pay attention to anybody around here, we're anti-Zionist, pro-Islam, and pro-everything else, and these guys are anti-Muslim. All you'll find when you go talk to them, they ain't on the Sunnah. Which Sunnah is that, right? Anyway, we'll carry on. So we're in a unique position today. And thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that as we say, the Negroes in the driver's seat, right? And we don't have star billing, but we're taking star billing. Yeah. Nobody wants it. Everything that's good, don't nobody want it. Nobody wants to talk about the Zionists. Nobody wants to do any of that, right? So we ain't got no competition. Right? We ain't got to worry about nothing. When we go anywhere talking about Zionism, you don't have to worry. Ain't nobody going to be there talking about the Zionists. Unless they develop a little crew to talk unrealistic anti-Zionists. But they're not going to do that no way soon till we get a hold, because if they get a phony anti-Zionist crew in here, the rhetoric that they make, they know we got enough skill, we can capitalize on that and use it ourselves. So they want to make sure what they're doing. You don't hear no anti-Zionist rhetoric. So this is the first time the Negro is in the driver's seat. That means that we are in the driver's seat for what we're doing. For what the other Muslims are doing, basically it's not that important, or it's not important in this. Yes, it's important, the dawah. Yes, it's important, the tabligh. But it's not important for the institutionalization of Islamic movement in North America. So that's the difference. They want to organize and mobilize the Muslims in America, but they don't want to do nothing with them. We're different. Because mobilization and organization are necessary. They used to say about Martin Luther King, he was good with mobilizing Muslims, bring out a big march, but not about the organizing, not the Muslims, but organizing society. So Stokely Carmichael and all of those, the All African Revolutionary People's Party, they were better at organizing. In fact, if you went to Stokely Carmichael's lectures, my son used to make fun of him all the time. He used to say, organization. you must be organized. Martin Luther King could mobilize. But he couldn't. I guess he'd be smoking a pipe, something like that. Can't organize. So that was the thing about the All African Revolutionary, whatever they was. Organization, not mobilization. But in the long run, it was just talk anyway. He and Imam Jamil was good friends, and if you wanted to go to, when they had a program at a university or anywhere, there was certain things that he demanded from his followers. There was a cutie pie and some smoke, good quality marijuana. That's why the movement, just wouldn't go nowhere, because that was his focus. Our great leaders, their focus and